Madhu Ajaja speaks about what it takes to be a true Rasta.
Boy, hate, mischief, jealousy, fear, bigotry, and hypocrisy. Judgment.
Smart Madhu. Smart Madhu Ajaja, CEO of and convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, speaks on the threats of the rest of Tampolo, a notorious oil thief who works for the rogue government. In Nigeria,
We speak the truth. Because every
Smart Madhu Ajaja, convener of Open Nigeria and Africa, speaks about his disregard for human beings who are treated as if they are sacred cows.
human being as a sacred cow that cannot be challenged for his or her crimes. Quick notice. I wish to use this opportunity to tell Nigerians who don't know and to remind all those who know that there is only one Almighty God, and that Almighty God gave man dominion over all things. You see, that's a very strong statement. Dominion over all things, including but not limited to dominion over bad leadership and bad leaders. You see, he did not say make any exception that there is any one man on earth who is above him. But one thing that I have discovered in Nigeria in particular is that some men have arrogated to themselves the power of the Almighty God and have in effect coerced the people to give them the reverence that is due only to the Almighty God. And because of this, the people of Nigeria are not able to stand up for themselves and stand up for their dominion. Yes, which is otherwise known as basic human rights. The right to life, the right to choice, the right to freedom of expression, the right to freedom of association, the right to worship God, and the right to self-determination. And the laws of these rights is collectively responsible for the decay we see in Nigeria. Because men driven by righteousness are not the men leading Nigeria. That is why they are leading the people of Nigeria astray. And because the people of Nigeria have given up their rights, their basic human rights, and their rights to the citizenship of Nigeria, they are easily railroaded without raising a finger. This is the origin of the disaster that is cascading now into hell for the ordinary Nigeria. Yes. So this moment calls on us for us to review. Let us re-examine ourselves. What is our essence as human beings? God did not create you to be a slave to anybody. God did not create you to be subservient to anybody. God did not create you to worship anybody. Some say they are kings, but they are not doing what is expected of them as kings. If you are a king, you are expected to live morally and spiritually above board. But show me one king in Nigeria that is worth being as a king. Yes, as it was in the olden days. Yes. So, Nigerians, remember or know that you are sovereign entities who deserve to be respected and treated with utmost dignity. I hope this message gets into some heads and hopefully inspire them to inspire others to unite for the good of Nigeria, so we can get ourselves out of the hell that is just getting worse that we are in right now. Thank you, and I thought I'd share this with you.
Smart Madu Ajaja, convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, reflects on the offensive influence and access statement by General Michael Langley on Africa.
Yes, I am on a mission to inspire you to wake up.
Smart Madu Ajaja, convener of Open Nigeria and Africa. Smart Madu Ajaja, CEO of ON and convener.
Donald Trump, President Ramaphosa of South Africa.
Smart Madu Ajaja. Smart Madu.
To free yourself.
Smart Madu Ajaja, convener of
Smart Madu Ajaja speaks about what it takes to be a true Rasta. Smart Madu Ajaja, CEO of ON and the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, speaks on his mission and the dangers associated with it, quoting the inspirational words of Bob Marley.
Hey, good morning, fellow Nigerians. This is Smart Madu Ajaja, the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite, and the anchor of Nigeria Now at ONN and the Nightingale Radio International from Houston, Texas, United States of America. It's 2 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is about 8 a.m. in Nigeria. I hope you guys are doing well. Quick message for the people of Nigeria. At independence, what we got was independence given to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was not an independent granted to northern Nigeria, all right, or independent given to southern Nigeria. Now, our country has been independent, sadly, for 64 years, all right, and it saddens me that the country is still polarized, between the north and the south, especially the north. The north, people overemphasize this north thing. to the extent that, one would ask, when will this country be actually one? You hear people say, I'm a Northerner. It's so much in the North, about the North. So when you proclaim this Northern nationalism, you reduce your Nigerian citizenship. I don't know if I am making sense to some people. And these politicians and divisive elements, especially those from the North, keep on, pumping this obnoxious Northern nationalism into every generation. Those people are confused about who they are, about between being Nigerians and being these annoying Northerners that they call themselves. There is nothing that is supposed to be regional, to that politicized regional for the gains of some people, not for the people of Nigeria or for anybody in particular, but for those who drive this rhetoric and want it to remain that way. Because by dividing, keeping Nigeria divided, that is how they make a living. So I want to inspire my compatriots from especially the North, especially the younger one. I won't blame the younger ones, because they are victims of those who pump this rhetoric. They are not asking, they don't give them the opportunity of asking questions because of the Jim Crow feudalistic oligarchy that puts power in the hands of a few men, led by one man who sits down and breathes down on everybody. Yes. So we have to put an end to this. So I am telling my brothers and sisters in Nigeria, if anybody, any politician comes to you telling you about the North, telling you about that, like making it look like everything is about the North, not an interest, not an in that. But they forget that we were granted independence the same day and then asked to say move as a country. They did not say move as a divided entity. But some people divided the entity in order to keep some people in their enclave repressed, uneducated, and made ignorant. Yes, and made abjectly poor because they want to continue to use them as cannon fodders. Yes, and as an army of blackmail against the good of Nigeria. So I'm telling you, my brothers and sisters, as we talk politics, I want to remind you, I live in the United States. I've lived here for 29 years. 29 years. America, I've never seen America divided along regional lines. They have not. They have south, they have east, but you never see them make politics out of it. And I will continue to use this example of Bill Clinton from Arkansas and his former vice president, Albert Gore from Tennessee. Arkansas and Tennessee are next door neighbors. They share a common boundary. But two persons, one from Arkansas, that is Bill Clinton, and the other one from Tennessee, Albert Gore, they were president and vice president respectively of the United States for 8 years. They came from the same region. I said, look at Arkansas, look at Tennessee, from the same region. Americans did not shoot down their country. Americans they don't even care about all that. What they care about was, or is and remains, what can you do? What difference can you make for the people of America? How can you improve the economy? How can you improve health care? How can you improve education? How can you improve housing? How can you improve agriculture? How can you improve infrastructure? Yes. How can women live better lives? What can you do to protect children from abuse? Their politics is driven by issues. And we say that we copied democracy from America, and we are practicing the polar type of democracy filled with corruption. We are still, after 64 years, talking about power rotation between North and South. Oh, the South will have it for 8 years before it goes back to the North. You know what it makes us look like? Even as educated as some of us are. And then when I hear the media amplifying this nonsense, like the likes of Shehu Okembaloye, I hear people like Ruben Abadi, that corrupt guy, you know, when they amplify this divisive rhetoric, not answer, I feel like, what is the meaning of their education? Yeah, this is the reason why I decided to create, one of the reasons I created this medium, ONN, to inspire Nigerians to be Nigerians and not to be Northerners or Southerners. When you say you are a Northerner, you are reducing your citizenship of Nigeria. You are like a stranger because you don't know who you are. It's an assault on your citizenship. It's an insult to you. And it's a bad prayer. And that is why Nigeria has remained divided. Everything is regionalized. Everything is polarized. We are not talking about religion. We are talking about North and South. We are talking about tribe. 64 years after. Instead of talking about the rotation of intellect, serialization of abilities, competency, courage to do right, knowledge, and the exceptional content of character and the strength of it required to lead and to build, utilize, expand, extend, and sustain capacity for the good of the whole country and its people from generation to generation. Respecting our basic human rights, including the right to life, the right to choice, the right to freedom of expression, the right to freedom of association, the right to worship, and the right to self-determination. So with the type of democracy we are running, the polar democracy, the tribal democracy, the regional democracy, the North and South democracy that we are running, Nigeria will never get to any destination. Because historically, what has this nonsense produced for us? It produced for us dumb asses like Muhammadu Buhari. It produced a Jim Crow man called Olusegun Obasanjo. It produced a non-entity, smiling jackal like Goodluck Jonathan, who was given an almighty God's mandate to turn Nigeria around. But he turned his back and did otherwise, a direct opposite of what the Almighty God handed over to him wholly and said, just go fix Nigeria. We brought him to through an impossible angle, because he would never have been under normal circumstances. He was brought in from an impossible angle to do the work of a rescuer of Nigeria. He gave Nigeria back to those whose ancestor wrote a blueprint for them to hold Nigeria in perpetual captivity. Jonathan Goodluck did that. He handed over Nigeria back to those driven by violence, jihad, and terrorism. He was the one. If he did what he was supposed to do and perform like a bull, Nigeria would be begging him to continue. But his greed, due to his carnal understanding of the Almighty God's mission that was given to him, he failed woefully. Opened the vaults of our treasury to the rogues from the same place Dasuki was eating with their 10 hands. They opened the floodgates and then they walloped the country's treasury before the terrorist grandfather, Muhammadu Buhari, took over and then let the terrorists loose on Nigeria to the point where we are right now. Because we don't want to develop. We don't want to build a real country. What's the wisdom in the North to have it for 80 years? What are they having? Have it for what now? Okay, the North have had it. The agents of the North have had it for how many years? They have had it all the years of the country's life. 10 out of Nigeria's heads of states were from that North. But that North accounts for 90% of the poor people extremely poor people in Nigeria. What does that tell you? That these people don't care about anybody. They don't care about the so-called North in whose name they come to rob Nigeria. And this is the reason why we must put an end to their reign. They have not done anybody any good. They have not done the North any good. They have not done the South any good. They have not done the East any good. They have not done the West any good. They are a disaster. And you know what these people are? They are Fulani elites who connive with some Yoruba elites. Since 1914, they have a historical marker. The trajectory is there from 1914 to the present day. They have been in that alliance. Fulani elites. Fulani elites driven by Osman and Fodio's ideology. And some of their accomplices, the descendants of those who signed the evil amalgamation treaty that expired in 2014, but still being enforced after its expiration, making Nigeria an illegal sovereign state. Yes, go back to those who studied law. You know that when a contract expires, any other thing done after it is null and void. Well, we have been operating in a null and void country. That is why our country is the way it is. They don't want us to speak the truth the way it is. Some people will get angry. But the truth is going to be the truth. We have to speak the truth. Because we are in a search, in a very dire search for the salvation of this country. And it's only those who can speak the truth that will make it happen. No matter how much you try to silence this truth, we will continue to speak it until the truth becomes so compelling and so incontrovertible, and we come with a lot of force that no army can stop it. I think that's where we are now. Yes, we must speak that truth. So, dear Nigerians, before I go to sleep, so dear Nigerians, anybody who comes to you in the name of the North, I'm talking about politicians now, or elites, high-profile elites, who comes telling you about the North, not an interest, turn your back on him or her. He or she is not a Nigerian. He or she does not love Nigeria. And he or she does not want the integration and the unification of Nigeria. So when they come to seek your votes, talking about this North, do not give them your votes. So I emphatically, let us say this very clearly, not from out of hate. The whole world knows me as one without a tribe. Even if I belong to a tribe, I have not come to champion the cause of the Ika tribe where I was born into. But I've come to champion the cause of Nigeria and the cause of Africa. But in the process of doing this, I understand the dangerous terrain we operate in. Some people driven by tribal extremism and religious nationalism. And then when we speak, they don't want people to talk about it because it amounts to political incorrectness. I am not about political correctness or otherwise. I am driven by the quest for moral logic. What is true is true. Any Fulani with ties to Osman and Fodio who proclaim this idea of the North, like Atiku, El-Rufai, Kwankwaso, and the rest of them who come in the name of the North. Nigerians, use your numerical strength to stop them from coming to power as the leaders of Nigeria, because they come not as citizens of Nigeria. They come to advance the cause of their Fulani nationalism. And that is the bane of what we have been suffering. That was what they did to suppress the Hausa people and use them as a weapon, numerical weapon, against the whole of Nigeria. I am happy the Hausa people are becoming aware of what they have been used for 221 years and now charting a course for their own destiny. Nigerians, for us to make Nigeria work, we must stop this type of people from coming to power at the highest level in Nigeria, because they are not Nigerians. They may wear the garb of Nigerians. They know where they belong. And where they belong is their mission, and that is what they have been fighting. I thought I'd share this with you. God bless you, and God bless Nigeria. Will we get the Nigeria of our dream? And it's going to be open Nigeria. When we get together and get this Nigeria of our dream, the next thing we'll consider is changing the name, the colonial name of Nigeria. It's not befitting. That name has been so battered. But as it stands right now, that's what we have. All right? So everybody must come together. Purge yourselves of hate, mischief, bigotry, tribalism, and hypocrisy. Let us unite to build one very country. Bye for now.